one particular fight, but I want to get you guys' opinions. I don't know, Sean, I think we can let you take this one away first. What do you have for fight of 2021?
Well, there were really two main candidates I considered, and I went back to kind of rewatch them to do it. And that was Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder and Chocolatito versus Gallo Estrada. And ultimately, I think I'm landing on Chocolatito as the fight of the year. And obviously, it didn't have the same amount of drama that the heavyweight title fight had. But I think that it sort of overperformed Chocolatito in particular in terms of expectation. We got the full fight. It was also somewhat controversial, very closely contested in the sense that, there's a population of people who think one person won, a population of people who think another person won. So there's no definitive outcome. And for me, I think I'm going to stick with Chocolatito and Gallo Estrada. But, of course, Wilder Fury was an amazing fight.
Yeah, definitely. I think Chocolatito against...
I'm excited.
I think Chocolatito against Estrada is one of those that's going to fly under the radar. It was kind of earlier on in the year, and the lighter divisions don't tend to get as much respect, perhaps, as the bigger divisions. So I think that's definitely one of the ones I had in my notes, but we'll let Clyde take it away.
I think that Sean doesn't know what he's talking about because obviously Darren Williams against Frank. I have to say,
you said Darren Williams.
They're my knockout of the year category contestants. It was, for me, it's between Valdez and Burchell and Fury and Wilder. So those are the two I have. Fury and Wilder a little bit, middle of the year, and Burchell and Valdez was like right at the start of the year. So that one, I went back to watch that one a couple weeks ago. So I thought that was a great fight. I don't think any of them has matched up, in my opinion, to those two.
Chris?
Hey. Yeah, I know. For me, I'm stuck between those two. Because those are those fights that we're gonna watch this fight with who, like, gotta make sure we don't work that night because those are the two events and they didn't disappoint. I'm torn because both had action packed, both had knockout finishes. Obviously we all know how we feel about Wilder. We're like, this is the fight to fucking end all the excuses, end that trilogy. We're done. We want to move on to bigger and better things. So with that said, I'm going to have to give my fight of the year to Wilder Fury 3, just because it finally silenced everything. There was there was already no need for a third one, but this one definitely sealed it. It's over. Huge knockout. They traded knockdowns. It was a sick-ass event. For me, that's the fight of the year.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and agree with that. Do I agree with that? I think I do. And I think a lot of the chat disagrees. I think I can see why. Because
what they saying?
A lot of people are saying here Gallo against Chocolatito. It was more of a pure boxing match, two technicians, two guys who are more evenly matched perhaps than Wilder against Fury. I understand all that, and I agree with all that. I even said I don't think this was the best version of Tyson Fury at all. I don't even think he fought that good of a fight. I think he showed a lot of heart, but
yeah.
And then it came out after they were saying he had an injured elbow or something like that, which maybe that explained it. But I think that's the reason why this fight was so exciting and intriguing. Both guys knocked each other down. Both guys had to overcome the knockdowns, overcome being hurt. And at the end of the fight, it ended with a brutal KO, spectacular, historic, memorable. And for those reasons, I'm going to go with that one. Probably because maybe it was a little more brutal, more knockdowns. And of course, it ended in a KO. but I can totally understand how, you know, you guys in the chat can disagree with that and vote for Estrada and Chocolatito. I'm not mad at that. Yeah. That one even a bit controversial. I think a lot of people weren't happy with the fact that Chocolatito lost or that Estrada won, however you want to see it. I think in Wilder Fury, there's just no doubt Fury put an end to that chapter, closed the book, went home and celebrated, and we'll see if we get to see Wilder again in the ring. But it was just brutal, no controversies. There was one clear winner, and that's why I go with that one, man. I go with Fury against Wilder.
That's right. Right.
Yeah, and the reason why I went with that one also with also Valdez and Burchell is because I see those fights as ones that you could just get any person off the street, and show them those fights, and they're just gonna fall in love with boxing, because that's the kind of fight that boxing fans love, the average, you know, sports person loves, or even any random person that maybe isn't into boxing. You show them that fight, and they're gonna dig it. They're gonna want to watch it.
Fights that make you fall in love, and that was one of those fights that kind of just put oxygen into boxing. I feel like with me, every time I see a boxing match, I'm like, I need like oxygen to make me get excited and stay excited and wait for the next event. That the Valdez or Chavez was one of those. Every time Roberto Ortiz fights, I get like renowned oxygen. And for me, the Wilder versus Tyson Fury 3, that was, even though it wasn't the highest quality of boxing as like Usyk and Joshua or Burchett and Valdez, that one just had all the makings of that drama. So much drama and so much, you know, you're tuned in every second of that fight because you know something can happen.
Yeah, people would think bring legitimate points. You know, Cambosos, Delfimo, they're mentioning that one. Big Bro's mentioning Canelo versus Plant. I think that was a pretty good fight too. And of course, we're always gonna miss those fights on the undercards that were back and forth wars, right? That we're gonna forget about. But you know, Clyde, I think, made a great point. No matter who you are, no matter if you're an avid boxing fan or a quote unquote casual boxing fan, a sports fan, if you're tuned into Sports Center that night, you probably said, "Damn," you know, and you probably went back and watched the highlights on YouTube or watched the full fight on YouTube because it was that type of fight. But yeah, I mean, like I started off the show saying, 2021 I think has been a very good year for boxing, and you see it in these debates. You know, it's tough to come up with a concrete answer for fight of the year, knockout of the year, because there were so many good ones. So, you know, I'm never gonna be mad at that.